Are you interested in real estate investing but not quite sure where to get started? Do you want to get the know-hows on creating ongoing passive income using the buy and hold strategy? Hi, I'm Janice Bowles, licensed realtor and co-founder of B Premier Ventures, a real estate development and consulting firm where we buy and beautify distressed real estate, renovate it, and for profit. With over 15 years of investing experience, B Premier has extensive knowledge in rural land development, fix and flips, and rental acquisitions. B Premier's current portfolio consists of properties within Florida and Virginia. Our firm's services includes investor project consulting, project management, and group coaching. For more information, visit our website at bpremierventures.com and schedule a complimentary discovery session or subscribe to our email list. It's free. Follow me on Instagram at Janice Bowles for additional real estate investing tips. B Premier Ventures, we buy and beautify.
Hey everybody, welcome to today's episode of Let's Do It Talk Show. It's your girl, Ladrine Howard Peterson, the CEO and founder of Do It, delivering on ideas and thoughts. And you know what I do in a nutshell, right? I help to turn dreamers into doers, and I do it from two aspects. I do it from the aspect of career development, resume writing, interview preparation, you looking to change your job, anything HR, I'm your girl. Then I also do it from the aspect of business. You're looking to start a business, you have some ideas and thoughts, but don't know where to get started. You have a business and you're looking for a marketing strategy. Guess what? I am your girl. Here at the Let's Do It Talk Show, we were primarily created for entrepreneurs. But as you know, and as I know, it is a whole person. So what we do is we focus on faith, we focus on finances, we focus on the future, and we focus on families and relationships. Today's episode is focusing on families and relationships. And we're taking it to a whole different level. We're taking it to a level from the aspect of protection and also defending, protection and defending. So what we're going to do is we're going to do what I always do, right? Before we jump into the topic, I go into details and talking to you and sharing with you about my weekend. So, this weekend I was on the fire range and shooting up a little something, playing around a little while. So it was very interesting. I have to be honest with you all. That first shot scared the devil out of me. I was like, it shook me. It was a little bit more powerful than I thought, but then, y'all see that? Y'all catch that? Y'all see that? Y'all see that? It was on and popping, literally. It was on and popping. But I actually enjoyed myself, not only just shooting the gun, but the fundamentals of it, and just the whole stance of understanding the safety of everything, so that I was really, kind of afraid of the whole aspect of a gun. It was my first time. I know I grew up in Southeast DC and all that other stuff, but it was honestly, sincerely, my first time holding a gun as well as shooting a gun. So that was definitely an experience. And then also, I had a little fun with my cooking. So y'all know I just learned how to cook in March of this year, and I've been having my COVID-19 cooking chronicles. So my specialty, well seasoned, is the lamb chop, and I have been killing it so much that I have been making arrangements to drive by and drop it off. That's an example of one of my tasters. Dr. Jennifer, she actually tasted it, and also Janice Bowles, and the pie was from her. And then I was just hanging out with Lisa Nichols, y'all know, Steve Harvey's coach. Just hanging out with her and Cheryl Wood and all of my EE squad on Friday's session was powerful. It was our second session that we had with Lisa Nichols. And a sad part, but I'll just show videos and everything about that later, but I can't just pass up without saying anything about it. One, it was already a sad morning on Saturday for me with the loss of my cousin. My cousin passed away. It hasn't been a year yet, and it was one of my close cousins. But also, Cherie Good. She's no stranger to this show. She has been here as my guest. She is my sister friend. She's also the twin sister of Cheryl Wood. Unfortunately, in a very sad, tragic accident, she lost her son in a motorcycle accident. And I'll pay tribute with some pictures and other things during the break. But Jordan was an all-star football player, wide receiver at Morgan State University. So all of the NFL drafters and everything was scouting him. When she posted it, I turned around and looked. There were like 10,000 comments. He's very well liked, very just wanting to be that superstar from a ground kid up. So my heart goes out to Cherie Good and the Cofield family, as well as the Wood family. Shocking. Words cannot tell. We have a very close sister community in the business, and everybody is like shocked, as well as Jordan's classmates in the schools. The president spoke out, so on and so forth, so on and so forth. So definitely say one up for them. And he has a visual, they're doing a visual for him, his school is, on Wednesday, as well as taking donations for his mom. And I'll talk about that a little bit later. We will be adjusting and moving on just a bit. So on our show today, we have several guests, and we're going to be talking about how to protect yourself, how to defend yourself, as well as your family. So we're going to go over a various numbers of subtopics. We're going to go with Coach Neek, and we're going to talk about being aware of your surroundings. We're also going to talk about self-defense techniques and have a demo in the studio. We haven't had guests in a while, so we slid some on in for you. And then last but not least, we're going to talk about firearms. So let's go to Coach Neek. How are you, lady? How's everything going?
Everything is going great.
Good.
And I'm excited to be, well, I'm not really excited to be talking about this topic tonight, because really we live in a world where we shouldn't have to talk about these kind of things.
Right.
But we do. So I'm excited to spread awareness, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I have to say, I really do appreciate you even identifying this topic. And it went in line with everything. My daughters and I were supposed to go to the shooting range 2 weeks ago, but it ended up getting canceled. This wasn't going to be the name of the show. As you know, I prompted you with communication and some other things, and you came up with this topic, and then everything fell in line. I had a guest that I had been trying to schedule something. That ended up working well and falling into place. But then I reached out to someone else about the whole gun aspect. She offered someone. So when I'm telling you, in terms of God's timing, divine timing, and how things work, this topic is necessary for right now, because there's so many things that are within our community, and if you are not walking around with your eyes wide open, it's going to be like it's hidden, but it's really not hidden. So thank you so much for bringing up the topic regarding your surroundings and protecting your surroundings and just being aware of them. So share in terms of where your thoughts came from or how we even got to this topic.
So this actually is very personal for me, and I'm going to measure what I say because I'm not necessarily comfortable sharing everything.
Understand.
So I was not all that familiar with human trafficking, other than what I heard about it on the internet. I honestly don't watch the news all that much, but I knew it was a big issue in New York City, where a lot of young teenagers and young adults were coming up missing. And I remember reading an article about a mom who sent her daughter to go pick up a younger daughter from school, and the daughter never returned home. And I was like, that's enough for me. I don't want to read about that anymore because it just scared the out of me.
Man.
So now I'm a fully grown woman, right?
Right.
And this is going to blow your mind. So I believe that I was marked, and one afternoon, one evening, early evening, I went out, and I was sitting outside at a restaurant, and a man walked by, and he was staring at me, and I thought he was someone else that I knew. So I looked at him, and I'm like, well, hey, and I usually don't speak to people, and I said, so he responded back, and I said, well, do I know you? And he said no, and then he asked me what was I doing sitting there by myself. So I said, well, I'm waiting for a friend. But Ladrine, I told him, take off your mask. Let me see you, because I wasn't afraid of him. So I was like, take off your mask. Let me see you. And I was like, oh, you're handsome. And he was like, oh, you're handsome too. And then we exchanged information. And I'm sitting there the whole time, the rest of the dinner, I couldn't think about nothing else. This handsome man that I just exchanged information with. So I'm still sitting there, and he texts me immediately. And he said, did your friend come? And I said, yeah. So I didn't think anything of it. Now, a couple of days later, I was like, it's kind of weird that he hasn't reached out to me. So I just, I reached out to him a text. And he's like, oh, well, what are you doing? If you're free, let's meet up for drinks or whatever later. So Ladrine, I tried to text him back 3 times. And it said, fail, did not go through.
Wow.
So I said to one of my friends, I said, is this a sign? So I call him, right? Because I don't listen. Because he was that fine. And we end up meeting up. So first thing that went wrong was I'm at the place waiting for him. Right. And he's like 20, 30 minutes late. So finally he calls me, because where we are, it's a waterfront area, and they have like these beautiful waterfront apartments, and allegedly he lived there. So he says to me, Shanika, come to my house. You won't believe this. I forgot my mask. So I was like, no. I was like, I'm not really comfortable coming to your house. He's like, no, just walk to the building, which doesn't make any sense. So now I start walking, but I want to say that I was not walking to his building. I believe I was walking to another area where it was like people, and I was going to call him back and tell him, no, you meet me right there. Now this is how crazy the night goes. I never see anybody in this area. My crazy, and I don't mean no offense to anybody, my crazy Dominican friend comes driving by, and everybody knows like we're crazy together, and he's shouting like, what are you doing out there? And I'm like, yes. I'm like, I'm getting in your car, drive me to this MF's building. He's telling me to meet him. So we get over there, and I'm like, okay, that's him. I say, this is my friend, blah, 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 blah. Fine. So, okay, now we're still okay. So we walk back to the bar that we're supposed to be at. And I'm going to shorten the story up. So we walk back to the bar we're supposed to be at. And he goes inside. No, she says to me, where's your car at? And I'm like, my car it's around. So he goes, okay. He was like, this is not the bar I want to go to. I'm going to go inside and call a cab. So I'm still like, why do we have to leave from where we are to go to another location? So he goes inside, and now he's making me alert, because he comes back out. Now, Ladrine, I watch everything. Right. He comes back out, and I know we live in a time of Uber, so you don't have to call a cab. You Uber a cab from your phone. So he comes back out, and I can see his phone. His phone hadn't called anybody. It was just all the numbers on there. So he says to me, well, what do you want to drink to go? Well, I don't want anything to drink to go. Like, what the hell is going on here? What are we doing? Right. So now I curb him, and I'm like, no, let's go to the bar we met at. Long story short, he abruptly wants to change bar locations. So, okay, fine. Change the bar location. Or I don't know what, something happened. I went to the bathroom, I came back out, he was all ready to go. He had a drink and a cup ready for me to go. So we walk out, and we're at a boardwalk. So I figured we just hang out at the boardwalk. So we start walking, and I'm like, well, where you go? Where are we going? He's like, I'm going to get my car. I said, well, for what? He's like, Shanika. So don't act like that. So
Wow.
I said, all right. Yeah, I said, all right. Go get your car. And I went to my car. Now, Ladrine, I don't know why, but I drove to the second location. And when I got to the second location, I didn't tell him I was there. And I kind of just looked around a little bit. And I
Right.
couldn't find him. So I called him and I said, I'm here. So he comes out to get me. When he comes out to get me, it's fine. But when we go back inside, there's a second man there now. So now I'm like, I'm texting my father because my father and I are very close. But for
Okay.
whatever reason, I'm not nervous yet. And but when I start talking to the guy, I get nervous because he's watching me. So now I'm watching him, and he asked me if I was okay. I said, yeah, I'm fine. And so I watch all kind of things. Like they had on these protection bracelets. They also had very similar tattoos. So now I'm like,
Oh
something
gosh.
is really, really wrong. And I look on the table and I see there's a we're in a bar and he has a small bottle of something. So I say, well, what is that? And he goes, and the guy was Jamaican and the one that I was with was Dominican. So first of all, those two people don't even necessarily hang out
Wow.
together.
Yeah, this is crazy.
So he goes, well, that's just his Jamaican stuff. So I said, well, he should have a drink of it. He wouldn't have a drink of it. So now I said, okay, my father's like, you need to get out of here.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I need to get out of here. But I said, I can't leave at the same time that they leave. So now he's trying to get me to eat. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. So I let him order me the food. And I was like, you need to think quick. And I said, okay, I'm tired. Give me the food to go. So the guy that I'm with, I don't know if he was new to doing whatever he was doing or if I just kept curbing and I kept asking a lot of questions and I kept doing a lot. And he let me order my food to go. But one thing that I thought about after I finally got out of there, the friend that he was with, he said, I called him here because I thought that you and I were in, I didn't think you were going to meet me. Okay. So I'm speaking to the friend, and he says the friend just got off of work. So I asked the friend, I didn't want to assume that they worked in the same place. I said, well, where do you work at? Told me he was an interior designer. He just got off. Now, I don't know what kind of interior designing goes on until like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, but okay. So now he goes on to show me his interior design work. So I'm looking at it. Then he also tells me, he shows me a truck, a SUV. He said, I also drive people around. And it hit me the next day that the person that he was calling was him. If I would have gotten a car with him to leave from one location to another location, I would have gotten into a car with his friend or whoever, the person that he was working with, and that would have been the end of me. So I won't
Wow.
say how I got out. I did get out. But what I will say is that it's very important because us women can't necessarily go around beating up the world. But you got to be able to think your way out of stuff sometimes. You got to pay attention to every little thing that goes on. Now,
Wow.
somebody might not have noticed a protection, two people wearing protection bracelets with similar tattoos and all that other stuff. And the way he did it was, and this, I would have never known that this is a part of trafficking or whatever they were doing, was the guy was gorgeous and he was very unalarming. But I think because of my background and things like that, and it's so
Mm-hmm.
funny. I looked at him, and I don't never ask nobody this question. I said, "Are you a drug dealer?"
Mm.
Because there was something very, very organized-ish about him, like something almost like very dark. Like if you speak to
Mm.
somebody and just like a transaction or a deal is about to go down real soon or something like that. It was off. But he told me he was a drug dealer. And I'm looking at him like to joke, hee hee ha ha. And he waited quite some time to hee hee ha ha. But no, maybe he wasn't selling drugs, but they might be selling parts or whatever it was that they wanted. Um,
Wow.
so human trafficking is not necessarily exclusive of nighttime. They mark you for whatever reason, being by yourself. He didn't have to look like Freddy Krueger, right? Because who
Right.
would want to go anywhere with Freddy Krueger?
Right.
So it's just it's things that we need to look out for. Like if we start to trust people, like we don't trust people that we don't know. Don't go. in a car with anybody anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm on Uber by myself if
Yeah.
I'm gonna Uber somewhere. Like, cause if you get in a car with somebody, you can forget about it.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I wasn't gonna die like that night, but I'm gonna tell you what, you gonna kill me right here because I'm not getting in your car.
Yeah. So all of that is like crazy, but it's real because you can meet someone just as you did and you went with the characteristics, handsome or whatever it is. There's no look for human trafficking. There's no look because they're trying to disguise in a way to make it soft to lure you in to come to them. So the whole situation kind of like got me to thinking. I'm very particular about who I keep company with, and it takes me probably longer than the average person to really warm up to somebody. We're going in separate cars. We're meeting at open locations, and if I'm going somewhere with you one-on-one, trust me, pictures, tags, everything. My girl got those. Like, it's not even a game out here, but I've been kind of like doing that from the streets, from growing up in Southeast. I mean, you just learn some type of mechanism. But as you get older and you move out to various places, you can get in your comfort zone and start to lose some of your automatic awareness that normally just comes to you in terms of reaction. So those who know me and know me close, they know that if somebody come up on me and you're in arm distance, you're gonna get popped. And that's just like the way that I grew up in terms of my whereabouts. But then and I do that in the workplace, which is like a thing that they're like you at work. But I'm like, it's my surroundings. But people have learned that about me. But I'll honestly say, as I've gotten older, things like ensuring my car that's outside, not in the garage, that I lock my doors. Making sure and testing all of the doorknobs and everything when I go in. I haven't been doing that. And about, I guess it was like 3 weeks ago, there was in our neighborhood a stream of young kids who were going around breaking into cars. And me, all naive, I was like, no, nobody broke in my car. Like, when my daughter went out in the morning, the door was wide open. So something happened, right? And I'm like, oh, no, I must have left my door open when I was running in and getting... Me making up this whole situation of, no, it was something that I did. And then when my neighbor came 2 days later and they all put their videos together, he was like, I stopped somebody from breaking in your car. So when I caught them, they ran. So then he began to say, make sure that you keep this light on and these other things. So I got a serious alarm system on my house, but wasn't utilizing all of the effects of it. So now if you come anywhere, you're going to hear, you're going to see, and you're going to do all of those things. So that's another thing. Don't become so comfortable that you let your guard down, because it'll be like simple things that happen. You don't want to be reactive. You want to be proactive, and you want to make sure that you have your thing soundproof. So a couple other things to close out with Unique, in terms of your takeaways, going through what you experienced, being you as your you're into psychologist work, but then also your business as being a matchmaker. So these are some of the things. So what would you tell or talk to the ladies about being careful for potential things of when people are trying to lure you into a situation?
So I would say we always want to go with instinct, but my instinct was at a very low level that particular day. So you're not going to have instinct, you better have intellect. So it's just basic safety things, right? Like, the freaks come out at night, so try to have your dates earlier when it's still light out and things of that sort. No personal information. Nobody needs to know where you live. You know, like you said, gone are the days where somebody can come pick you up from your house. Like, I have to really know a lot about you for you to come to my house, because I don't want you to ever come back uninvited again. Also tell people that you're going out, like, what's this secretive dating and things like that. And also too, like with the drinks, and everybody should know this. Like one of his biggest things was like he wanted me to drink a whole bottle of wine. Like my favorite wine is prosecco, and he's like, I'm gonna get the whole bottle. And I'm like, well, who does he think he's with? Like I drink little cups of it, So just pay attention to everything they're doing and the way they're moving, because when somebody's a little abnormal.
Yeah.
Like he was focused on his task.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you how I knew he was focused on his task, because he asked me if I was single, and I responded to him, and the conversation changed, right? He's like, oh, okay, and I said, well, I was like, you're really nice looking, and he said that he actually had somebody, or they just broke up or something like that, so he didn't know what was really going to happen. Okay, that's still normal too. So I'm like, okay, well, do you have some nice friends? And let me tell you something. For me doing this job and being a human being, a woman,
right?
All the years I've been a woman, any man that has interest in you, he's never going to give you up to another man. And he said to me, sure. He said, I have a lot of friends. He said, I don't mind hooking you up with something. And I said, well, with someone. I said, well, why are we out here if you're so willing to hook me up with somebody else? So he was very focused on his task. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a connection. I was just business.
Yeah. It was actually like a lot of red flags. When you like hindsight, when you look at those, a lot of red flags, and even when you're in the midst of something, you don't want to necessarily quickly react. And so it's a hard decision you have to make, because you have to think like while you're on your feet. You have to think while you're on your feet. You don't want to trigger them and make them just go hard and move and pull and, mission accomplished in terms of that. So you have to really like be aware. But for DC, there are like so many different pieces of information that I pulled up that I was so surprised about. And that's why I wrote on my post, you think that it's more like I know, and it might have been a movie. I don't hardly watch movies, so I don't know the name of it. But it was something overseas where they were kidnapping kids and using them for drug trafficking. I really didn't think of in my backyard. And so, Shanika, when you reached out and you said that, I was shocked and surprised. But then I started pulling information and looking it up for DC only, DC alone. And their numbers are tremendously high. They talk about all the various organizations and things that they are capturing and that they are following. And they also offer some red flags and some warning signs. And this is for children. Children running away from home. A lot of times they will be connected to someone and want to they can't go out at a certain time and run away from home and end up getting connected to them. Then there's also truancy, not attending school. They're playing hooky with these people, possessing cell phones they did not purchase or own, making purchases with credit cards, older boyfriends, signs of physical abuse such as burn marks, bruises or cuts, signs of gang affiliations and new tattoos. So that was one thing that you definitely said in that, and that's for children. Then they have so many other ones for grown-ups, but those are less because it more so ties into safety and being aware of all of the various things that you're doing while you're doing. But I can tell you, it takes me back to my alert days. And now I'm very cognizant of everything that I do, every move that I make. And we should, it's not for us to be in a fearful type of environment, but that's how it is. That's how it was. And I have to honestly say that over a period of time, I felt like I had let my guard down. But from that minor situation, it really caused me to step up in my game and pay attention to all of the things that are going on. But there's a human trafficking hotline number if anyone has questions or anyone knows of anything that's going on. It is anonymous, and the number is, and I'll post it in the feed, but it's 1-888-373-7888, or text help to 233-733 if you're ever in a situation. So It's crazy how all of these things happen, how all these young kids, especially girls, end up popping up missing and no one can figure out what's going on. And then oftentimes years later, they pop up somewhere, or as an adult, they end up telling their story. So be careful of people who are trying to befriend you. Check your surroundings, and online, check your back seat, check your rear mirror, and make sure like your alarm systems and everything that you have purchased, make sure that you utilize those for your safety. Shanika, can you tell them how they can reach you with your social media information?
If I want to say that now, like I'm afraid somebody.
Oh, changing the game. It's changing the game.
Let me tell you something. You don't want to come look for me because you don't know how it ends for them people that night. I'm gonna say that. Leave me alone. But no, definitely I'm still here for the matchmaking, for the coaching. You can reach me on Instagram, Help Me Club, Facebook, The Help Me Club, same thing, thehelpmeclub.com if you want to contact me directly.
Yep. Thank you so much. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. And on the flip side, we are going to get ready for some self-defense and some action that's going on actually in the studio. So thank you so much. We'll be right back.
Are you interested in real estate investing but not quite sure where to get started? Do you want to get the know-hows on creating ongoing passive income using the buy and hold strategy? Hi, I'm Janice Bowles, realtor and co-founder of B Premier Ventures, a real estate development and consulting firm where we buy and beautify distressed real estate, renovate it, and resell for profit. With over 15 years of investment experience, B Premier has extensive knowledge in rural land development, fixing flips, and rental acquisitions. B Premier's current portfolio consists of properties in Florida and Florida. Our services includes investor consulting, management, and group coaching. For more information, visit our website at bpremier.com and schedule a complimentary discovery session, or subscribe to our email list. It's free. Follow me on Instagram at Janice Bowles for additional real estate investing tips. B Premier Ventures, we buy and beautify.
Welcome back, everybody. So y'all be safe out there, all right? And as I mentioned earlier, rest in peace to Jordan. Like, that is like unbelievable at the tender age of 20, and rest in peace to my cousin Ann. So thank you all, everybody, for joining on the show. Make sure that you share the show. Make sure that you follow us on all social media platforms. Same name, Let's Do It Talk Show. That's our name on Facebook, Instagram, as well as our YouTube page, and we have a website. So we are going to jump right into some action. I met this young man, we'll call him young. I met this young man at an event where he was, him and his partner was doing a self-defense, several different techniques where of like walked away feeling like girl power. You can say what you want. I think she kind of like got out on him. But nonetheless, we're going to go ahead and step into it. 3D self-defense. Mr. Tony Bledsoe is here. He is a 4th degree black belt, and he has a special guest with him as well. So can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Marvera Isaac, and I'm a student of his
Okay.
as well. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. But Tony has been a martial arts practitioner for over 30 years. He currently holds a 4th degree black belt in something. You can tell them what that is. It's a little Chinese or something. I'm smart, but yeah, that right there what he said. Not only has he been a nationally ranked competitor, but he has also had discipline in a lot of other different stuff, including boxing. He is a well-known and beloved martial arts instructor throughout the DMV. And one thing, big shout out to you. So when I posted, someone told me that you coached with them, my brother, my family, Andre Watts at Baloo. I went to Baloo for one day. I couldn't, Baloo was too much for me. I transitioned over to a different school. But yeah, so how long have you been working in this profession?
I've been doing martial arts for over 37 years now.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah. And what first sparked your interest in it?
Bruce Lee.
Ah.
Way back in the day. Yeah, Chinese Connection. You know, when he first come out, Bruce Lee captured everybody. And then from then, my dad knew a little bit. So I messed around with him, and it just stuck with me ever since.
Okay, so you was one of the little kids running around kicking everybody in their legs, right? What are some, so you heard Shanika talk about a real life experience that just happened to her a couple weeks ago.
Right.
So in terms of that actual situation, a lot of red flags were there.
Yes.
What advice would you all offer to someone that's in that situation for self-defense mechanism? Look, she ready.
No, I was going to let him go, and then I was going to say my piece.
Okay.
Oh, well, for one, the red flags was there when he was asking all the questions.
Right.
That should have been an eye opener for her, because he was really getting into some details there that a lot of people don't look for on a first date. And even when she went out on that date, being that he was a total stranger, I feel that she should have had, someone either on the phone or knowing where she was going to be located, versus saying, yeah, I'll meet you here, I'll meet you there, I'm going to come to your apartment, but she never said that she let anyone else know
Right.
where she was headed
Right.
during that particular time. So therefore, that should have been, an eye opener for, to where, okay, actually, he's doing too much. So therefore, I'm just gonna say, you know what, guy, I'll holler at you later on. Versus I'm going, I'm still gonna come here, I'm still gonna go there, we still gonna do this, we
Right.
still gonna, do that. So her being in the field that she's in, that can be, an eye opener as well for those individuals who she's basically connecting together, because you never know, who you're gonna meet. And when it comes to dating, you look good, you look bad. At the end of the day, no one really is caring, how you look if they're targeting you, and they have a certain idea of what they want to do with you. And human trafficking is a really, really big thing now.
Yeah.
It's huge. Just in general, I wish that I would have taken a self-defense or done martial arts long ago. So I really encourage anybody, the sooner the better. I have several stories growing up. I got into martial arts, some time ago. But when I was living in Atlanta and dating and just being a single woman living in a studio apartment, I can tell you several instances just minding my own business. So just in general, I would say to people, if you're going out on a date, especially first dates,
Right.
you pick. I would say don't allow for them to pick.
Mm-hmm.
Pick a place that's familiar to you. And you hit a lot of valids as well in terms of, letting people know, taking that tag and, this is this person's name, or at least this is where we're going. But for me, for a minute, you're not taking me anywhere that I don't know. you know, or I'm not familiar with,
yeah.
or, you know, so those are just some important things.
Yeah, and like the questions, that can get kind of tricky. I mean, yeah, I'm a questioner. So my first dates, my second dates, and my third dates. I'm a talker. So in terms of it, I'm asking questions that are linking, like, oh, what was your mother like? So
Right,
I
right,
go
right,
into
right.
details and do it, but I'm building a story up, putting things together. But some of the other questions, I'm like,
Yeah,
and then the
just didn't
whole
add up.
thing of, I can introduce you to my other friends. I don't get down like that, so that was a red flag for me as well. So,
I'm from Philly, so you know, we
okay, Philly, okay, Philly, Southeast, whatever. All right, and so in terms of like the classes that you all offer, very interesting website. I looked at it. It's a whole number of different things. I was going to go to self-defense first. I went to the fire range, but I'll shoot back and come back to you. But
Okay,
shoot
great,
back,
great.
you got that shoot back. It's like, no. But what type of classes do you all offer, and is it broken down by gender, age, beginning? How are your classes?
Yeah, well, I offer a number of different classes. I offer Kung Fu for the younger kids, but then for the older generation, I kind of open up to what I call our system is Brunei Salat, and that's more of a street style applications, but it's practical. It consists of a lot of grabs and breaks. Basically, to where you'll be able to get out of certain grabs or certain holds to where you'll be able to walk away. When it comes to the kung fu side, Tenshin Pai side, that's a whole lot of jumping and kicking and working weapons and all of that.
We're gonna need a nickname for that. I would like to gather some young ladies, but either something virtually. But I need something I can pronounce, so
Yes.
we'll come up with our own language. But go ahead.
Okay, but then Salat, like I said, in our system, we believe that every block is a strike and every strike is a block. Basically,
like that.
and that way you're always able to defend yourself off the littlest thing and not realize what that you actually are hitting major areas. We work on 5 reference points. It goes up the arm, and 5 that works down the legs. And once you understand where to and how to punch, right, that makes a big difference.
Right. So this right here don't work.
That doesn't work at all. That doesn't work at all.
So you are gonna do a demo for us, but
Yes.
before you do your demo, because I saw you last time, you got him. But can you give your social media and your information before you engage in your activity?
Yes. My email address is 3dselfdefense@gmail.com. Instagram is 3D selfdefense. Website is 3dselfdefense.info, and number is 240-475-2085. We're located in Waldorf, Maryland, 2290 Old Washington Road in Poons Plaza.
And when you get finished working out and you catch your breath, you can put all of that in the feed for everyone. So
All right.
y'all take it away. Do y'all action and y'all activity thing. I'm ready.
All right. So what I'm gonna do first, I'm gonna have Shifu Marvir. We're gonna go over some basic grabs, some basic choke holds that you would normally see, and most of the time, especially on the street, when it comes to women, if a guy grabbed them, the first thing they want to do is to resist, and that becomes a tug of war, pull and pull. We don't believe in pulling. We believe in going with the pull to where the guy actually relaxes his arm, and she'll be able to work the technique and without a struggle. But when you're pulling, there becomes a struggle. But if I just give or she just give, there's no struggle at all in being able to work out of that. And then we'll go into some choke holds, especially for those who are engaging in domestic disputes. There's always choking involved. So we'll go over a few of the choke holds in the front, one hand in, and in the rear. And then even as the young lady was talking earlier, even if you're out on a date and a guy wants to come and talk to you, he wants to grab your hand, right? And you don't want him to grab your hand. We're going to show you how to work techniques just out of the basic grabbing of a hand.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
Okay.
Y'all watch her. Girl power. You can't put it on the thing?
Oh, I didn't see it. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
All right, so basically we're going to go out of a basic grab, right? I'm grabbing her, I'm pulling, and she doesn't want to go with the pull.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're just going to do it the way it's supposed to be done. You hear it?
Whoa. Okay.
All right, so what she did, right, was she put me into what we call the chicken wing. right? And by the wrist being bent here, right, it's covered, right? From there, right, you apply the technique. Whoa, slow down. But and from there, right, and now she applies the technique, and all she's doing is snapping the wrist. If you can really see how the wrist is bent, you can already see the bone that's sticking out, of that. That's off a basic grab, right? Basic cross grab. And I'm gonna do the same grab, but I'm gonna go on the same side of the arm, right? So we're here, right? So now she's flipping me up right there, right? As you can see, the bone is protruding out right here as well. All right. So those are just basic off the basic grab, right? If I was to come up and say, "Hey, how you doing?" Right, and then she wants to resist off of this, right? This is the basic of me just grabbing her hand and say, "Hey, how you doing? Will you come and talk to me?" She doesn't want to talk to me, and I'm still asking her to talk to me, and then she goes into
woo.
Whoa. And then she goes, slow that down, so they can actually see what you're doing. So what she did first, right, she grabbed the thumb and she pressed down on the knuckle, right, which is what we call another form of a china, right? So she just broke the knuckle on the thumb, right? From there, she's going to twist, right? From there, turn, if you can see, turn. Once again, the bone is popping out here, so she has the wrist as well as the elbow. So as she applies pressure down, right, I'm feeling all the pressure from here all the way down to the elbow.
Okay.
Right, which she's popping those 3 areas at one time. That's one off the basic grab of the hand. She's gonna do another one, going the opposite
Woo.
right from here. Wait a minute. Right, so you can tell she has me up, right? So every time she twists here, right, she's popping, right, the wrist out, and then from there, she's still in control, and now she has me into what we call, all right, a shoulder lock, right, to where even if I try to raise up, right, I can't raise. So every time I raise up, she's popping the shoulder, right, out of socket, right. That's just basic off of a hand grab.
You alright?
Yeah, it's you gotta shake him out. So off a basic choke, right, if I come with one hand, I'm backing her up, right? First thing she's doing is poking me here in the throat, and she's going right back into that chicken wing effect again, popping the shoulder. Slow that down and show it again. I'm here, right? So that's the first china right here, right? She just broke my wrist, right? From there, going back, and now she's popping the elbow and the shoulder once again, right? That's off a single choke, right? If I was to grab her, and I'm choking her for real.
Here.
All right. Wait a minute. Hold on. Right from here, same thing. She has the wrist locked here, right? The elbow locked here. So as she presses down, press down. See, it takes me all the way to the floor, right? And now she's in total control, breaking the wrist once again, right?
Wow.
That's one off the 2-hand choke, all right? And then she'll do it from the rear, grabbing her here. She just grabbed, slow down, go back. What she did,
You got nails.
she's grabbing nails, and she's digging into the nerves here, right? Which causes me to lose my grip, right? Because now she's hitting nerves and pressure points, right? So she's turning her head so she can breathe into the crease of the elbow, right? So now from there, she's sliding up and taking me into an arm bar, right? Which once again snaps the elbow, right, and automatically drops me to the ground.
So I have one question in terms of height.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah, height or size does not matter.
I'm a little height challenged. I'm a little vertically challenged. I just need to know the right technique.
Even if I was to throw a punch, right, Like I said, we believe in reference points. So every strike is a block and every block is a strike. So even if I throw a punch, see, slow down.
He wants you to slow down. That's what he wants you to do.
Right. See what she just did? She hit a nerve here, so you can see the veins popping out. Right. So she just hit a nerve, which is the reference point. We call reference point number 2. She hit right there, which protrudes the vein out, and it numbs the whole arm. All right. So let me change sides. All right. So I'm here. Boom. Here.
Okay.
All right.
Ooh.
I wasn't expecting that.
Okay.
But what she did is turn it around, right? Just turn it around so they can see what you're doing. From here, she's striking again for the block. That block is actually a punch, right, or a strike, right? She hit me here in the ribs. From there, right, From there, she's breaking the elbow, right, and pushing the head to the side. From there, she's stepping forward, right, and taking me down, right, to where now on the street, she would slam my head into the concrete. Right, from here, she's allowing me to stop and position myself.
Because he's a martial artist, he know how to.
Right.
Nobody else is gonna know that.
They're gonna fall flat.
Right, so that's one off a punch. Then give me something else. I'm here. All right, from there she just struck the groin area, right, which is very tender to you guys. You already know that. So she's striking the groin. She's wrapping, going back into the chicken wing once again. Off of that. All right, we here. She struck the side of the neck. Just broke the elbow.
Okay.
Taking him down. And she has the wrist lock.
Or I could break it, but I wouldn't.
Right.
She gonna let him go
Control be
easy.
like, y'all better call the cops.
Right.
Those are
Okay.
Get broke.
We work off 4 basic principles.
Okay.
If you notice, right? The 4 basic principles is block, punch, right? It's block and punch, right? Strike, trap, and break. Right, and out of those 4 basic principles, you can work over 100 techniques, right? And you can work the same technique over and over again. Out of those 4, if she steps and punch, this is one of the ones she showed here, right? That's off of block and punch, boom. Now do the same thing. I'm breaking the elbow, right, and going into that, right? Off of this, there's a strike.
Get me back.
Boom.
Right.
Go right back
You
into
get me
him
back.
again. So that's the simplicity of this system, right? To where whatever you do on one side, you can do on the other side, but yet you still work off 4 basic principles.
Right.
And me being in the martial arts for so long, right? There's certain applications, right, in certain systems, you can't work them on the same side, right? Go ahead.
This is why I really love the system. I've had training in Tension Pie, but why I love Bernai Salai is because it's anybody can learn it. Because just like he said, there's some basic techniques that you will learn, but you can mix it up and put
Make your own little combination.
Exactly.
Uh-oh.
So really, I mean, it's for all ages. But if you know, your older people aren't going to want to do kung fu, but this is really practical for that self-defense. You out in the street kind of thing. It's simple to learn, but at the same time, it's efficient to get the job done. So that's why I love it.
And also the key is in a lot of systems, right? They teach you to punch, right? But they don't teach you how to punch.
Okay.
They just teach you to punch.
Right.
Just like in boxing, they teach you the jab, they teach you the cross. But we teach you to not only punch, but how to punch, right? To where now you understand exactly what area that you're trying to attack versus just punching. If I was to throw at her and hit a nerve, right? Do your nerve press, right? So now she understands if I'm coming here, slide up. See, she automatically knows, right? There's a nerve right there, right? So she know, okay, out of that. See, every time I come, anytime I want to come up, she can take me right back down. Right back down, because she understands, right, the application and where to and how to attack, and that's the simplicity of of everything we do. Because even she can go down to the legs. I don't know if you can see the legs or not, but she can fight without throwing her hands at all.
Okay.
Right. So right. Yeah. Just do any one of you feel. Right. So I'm here. Right. Don't use your hands. Don't use your hands. Do guate or goatee. Right. So I'm coming. See, boom.
Oh, yeah.
Right, she just took me down. Do the knee break. Right, break my knee, break my shin, break my ankle. Please be careful with this one. Right, but as I punch, here, she just struck the shin. Right, which shatters the shin. Right, from there she's locking and she's sitting down. As she bends, she breaks the knee. And from there, see how the ankle is turning over? So she just broke the ankle. So she's hitting 3 areas at one time.
Wow.
Basically off of what we call a basic sweep.
And when you come in, you're really hitting that shin.
Mm-hmm.
And it hurts him. Really doesn't hurt me, but it hurts him.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's real. The techniques are real simple, real easy to learn. There's not a lot of complication to it. And like I said, everything comes off of 4 basic principles.
Yeah, this is my second time seeing her in action. I mean, so girl power. I mean, so girl power. I need to brush it up on her.
She's been with me now a little over a year. She's just going to her next test. Yeah,
oh, wow.
So she's still in the beginning, intermediate
and it's totally
stages.
From
so she's got it.
Before.
Okay.
She's got it hands down.
And she does it like with ease. She's smiling while you over there like,
Yes.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate you all coming in. It's been a while since we've been trying to make this happen. So glad things are lightening up a little bit. But definitely when they really open up, I want to get a group of women together and take a class. And are you all doing anything virtually?
Yes.
Okay.
We're doing Zoom, as well as we've opened our doors back up also. So we're doing in-house classes as well with the shield. We have the face shields, the mask, the gloves, checking the temperature. I mean, we're doing everything, by the book, as well as doing Zoom.
So let's connect in terms of a Zoom class. I'm not ready to be all up and close, just quite yet. Like,
that would be great.
Because I want to get you when I get you. No, I'm but let's connect and set up something for a Zoom virtual class so that we can have something. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Wow, you got it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So we are going to transition a little bit. So we had it with the self-defense, and we talked about some different techniques and some different things that you can do. But we're going to transition to a little bit higher. We're going to go and move into firearms. So as you all know, this weekend I went to the range, and I'll be honest, I was scared when I first went. And the instructors were so easy, but first I had like a conversation with Tony Lee. So she kind of like told me and walked through some things, and also provided some resources and some other folks to connect with in terms of training. So we will transition over to our next guest, who is Mr. Gabriel Dinkins. And Gabriel, can you explain to everybody what you do and tell them a little bit about your background?
Sure, absolutely. So I am a certified firearms instructor by the NRA, the Maryland State Police, and the United States Concealed Carry Association. And so one of the things that I do is that I train people who want to be able to purchase a firearm for their home, or they want to learn how to shoot, or they also are looking to do concealed carry. And so that's one of the things that I specialize in. I do family classes, I do group classes, I do women only. I have a lot of different mixtures. I do couples, I do family members, again, like I said earlier. And so, one of the main reasons why I started my company was because I wanted to have someone in our communities that look like us, to where we can have a resource to where we can go and learn the right way and the legal way. And then also, as a father I said I wanted to make sure my kids understood proper firearm safety. So if they ever go somewhere and someone leaves a firearm out, that they will know what to do and what not to do, and so we can stop some of these accidental shootings or accidents that we have because someone was careless with the firearm.
And so, in terms of your training, do you offer training and preparedness for Maryland only, or do you do it for any other areas?
So I also can certify for Virginia. Later this month, or next month, I'm actually flying to Utah so I can become a certified Utah instructor as well. And then eventually I'll be offering DC concealed carry classes as well.
Okay, great. And in terms of the requirements, can you kind of go? I know that there are various classes for various requirements. So, can you start us with the basics?
Sure, absolutely. So for my Maryland residents who are looking to be able to purchase a firearm for the home, Maryland has what is called a handgun qualification license. That class is a 4-hour class, and it covers basic firearm safety. It covers parts of the gun, the do's and don'ts when it comes to firearm safety, as far as the universal safety rules. And then you also have to go to the range, and Maryland requires you to show that you can safely operate a firearm. And so that's pretty much the most basic class that you will need in order to be able to purchase a firearm in the state of Maryland. And that is only for a Maryland resident. If you're a resident of Virginia or DC, what will have to happen is you would purchase a firearm and it would get transferred to a gun dealer within your state, or for DC's case, it will go to the Maryland State Police down on Indiana Avenue, and then you will go there and they will facilitate the transfer. Once you go there, then you would, do your transfer fee, and then you would be able to take the firearm home to your residence.
And then, what are the different requirements if someone wants a weapon to have in their home, but then another person wants to have a weapon that they actually take outside with them, whether it's in their car or either that they wear on their body?
Sure. So the difference is in the number of hours that is required, and then also for your carry qualification, there's actually a shooting qualification that you have to be able to pass. And so usually when you go for your handgun qualification license, you only have to fire 1 or 2 rounds or a couple of rounds. And then, but for Maryland, your carry qualification is 25 rounds if you're a normal civilian, and if you're an armed security guard, then it's 50 rounds. For DC, it's 50 rounds, whether you're armed security or not. Everybody has to go and fire 50 rounds, and then you have to have at least a 70% accuracy in order to be able to pass the qualification.
Okay, well, I got my shots here, so you can go ahead and register me up, because I kind of like did a little something, something. The first one, I'll have to say, I was afraid. I was scared with the first bullet that I did. So this was my first one. I shot the mess out of his arm. On the first one. But the second one, things got real. And yeah, everything started like lining up and doing everything. So you might can call me gangster, just a little teeny bit. But actually, it was interesting. And once I got the gist of everything and sort of like figured it out, it wasn't as complex. And then I utilized like the guiding from the top of the gun to help me in terms of the aim. We played around a little bit with the distances. So when you're taking the classes and you have to shoot the rounds, are you moving them back? Like, is there any requirements around the distancing?
Yeah, so for your carry qualification especially, it requires you to shoot right-handed only, left-handed only. It requires you to shoot at various distances between 3, 5, 7, 10, and out to 15 yards. And so,
Okay.
So it's definitely some variation when it comes to that. And then some instructors will have you do, rounds that are center mass, is what we call in this area.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's say it's somebody who happens to have body armor or anything like that, then obviously shooting them in this area is not going to work.
Right.
And so you have to go up, to a higher position on their body in order to stop the threat. And so that's one of the things that I tell my clients all the time is, we do not advocate for killing people. We simply advocate just for stopping the threat. Yeah. The moment that the threat is over, the moment we stop.
So that's a very good point that you made right there, like not shooting to kill. My best friend and I had like a very serious conversation today about that. But in terms of your teaching mechanism of teaching to stop a threat, not to kill. From a mindset standpoint, how do you discuss that with people? Because I'll tell you, like at one point, when I was in there, I was first scared to shoot it. Then when I got like extremely comfortable with it, it was like bang, 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 bang. So I like for me, I would want to like sincerely take some type of class and to go through fundamental for my thinking aspect. I don't want to get anywhere and just be like, from any amped up or anything like that. So I felt like for me, like that was very important. And I know like that's something that I would need to do.
Yeah, I mean, and so when it comes to a firearm, when you have a firearm, you have to mentally prepare yourself that I might have to use this to defend myself.
Yeah.
The overwhelming majority of people are not people who are going out and they just want to go and hurt somebody, because it is a serious thing, and a firearm must be respected at all times.
Yeah.
And so if you have a firearm and it's something that you're uncertain about, and this is one of the biggest reasons, again, why, like I mentioned earlier, about why I wanted to become an instructor, is because I would rather you take the time and learn the right way. And so one of the things I will tell a lot of my clients is, if you have younger sons, younger daughters who want to come and learn, and you're coming to a class with me, absolutely bring them along at no extra cost or anything like that, because I want them to learn as well, so they don't do something to hurt themselves. We have a lot of video games and stuff like that, and they think that video games are a translation to what real life is, and it's very different when you actually go to the range and you actually shoot it, and you see how loud it is, how much recoil is in your hand and stuff like that. And then it's like, okay, well, no, this is not TV, or this is not the movies, and this is not a video game. So how do I respect it? As long as you follow the safety rules, and you respect the firearm, then you'll take care and avoid a lot of incidents that happen when people don't follow those rules. That's when you see the tragedies.
So I'm gonna ask you to prepare for any other tips that you have. But my one, you brought up a good point regarding the sound. Oh my goodness. So of course we had the sound protection. But when you are somewhere and you're in the midst of something, you're not gonna have the sound protection. And it almost feel like, I mean, I can understand and I know that because of the number of people. Like we were in there with maybe like they were 5, 5, 5, 5, or 6, 6, 6, 6. But it was bang, 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 bang. We had two of the lanes, someone else had two, and someone else had two. So we had the earplugs in our ears, right? So when we first walked in, it still was like a little teeny bit different. But when we walked out and unplugged, it was a total different. So you're not going to be like, hold on, let me get my earplugs. So how, in terms of like the realisticness, and I know like hopefully you're only shooting one, you're not aiming to kill or whatever it is, but actually in the midst of something, your ears. So have you ever had any issues with your ears personally?
So I'll tell you, our body has a lot of defensive mechanisms that are built in, since almost like our immune system.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we go through a stressful situation, almost like if you've ever been in a serious car accident, right? You might bump your head, bump your arm, and you don't realize until the next day when your adrenaline slows down that you say, "Oh, I didn't. This area is sore, but I don't remember bumping that, or I don't remember hitting that." And so, kind of the same things happens in a self-defense situation, is because our adrenaline is pumping so fast and we're so focused on the threat. Our blood pulls, our body pulls blood away from essential or non-essential resources, to where it focuses on sending blood to our eyes so we see clear, right? And one of the other side effects of that is we experience diminished sound. And so because we experience diminished sound, it's not actually as loud as what we perceive it if we were just normal, calm, relaxed, whatever the case may be. So when we're at the range, and most people's reaction, and I tell people all the time, that it's absolutely normal to be caught off guard by how loud it is, right? And so I tell them all the time, take a deep breath, slow down, right? Just calm down, calm your mind down, and then your hands will calm down, because otherwise you'll be real nervous and real jittery. And one of the things, because I get a lot of females who come to me, I absolutely believe in taking my time with somebody. I want it to be a positive first experience, so that way you'll say, oh, that was fun. I was nervous about it, but I overcame it. And that's really what I look for in my clients. I want to build their confidence first and make it a positive experience, so then they'll say, okay, I will go back and do that again.
Yeah, and that's how I was. I was like, I don't know where I want to go. I don't know where I want to go. Then when I went, I was like, yeah, we'll be back. It's like I'm playing, but it does get you like amped up and fired up in terms of the ability. But like me, my conscious mind was like, okay, you gotta be careful. You gotta think about this. It's a gun and all of those things. So I personally did like evaluate it and look at it from both sides of it. So we're gonna go back again, and then I can figure out like my thoughts for my next steps or the other things that I want to do. But it's a mechanism for safety. A lot of things are going on right now, and even when things are not going on right now, there's still a measure of safety that you want to have for your family. It's like you don't want to take a fist to a gunfight. You don't want to take a knife to a gunfight. So you gotta be ready and prepared for whatever is going on. But thank you so much for taking the time out to walk through and explain all of the various information. Your classes, tell us about your classes and also your social media information.
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. So anybody who's looking to get their license to be able to purchase as a Maryland resident, absolutely, definitely come and see me. We offer that class. We offer the wear and carry class. I also have, I'm also able to teach the Utah class. While we'll be in September, we'll also be offering DC as well. So any of those things that you're definitely looking for. A lot of times people say, "Oh, well, you can't carry in DC." You absolutely can. I'm licensed to carry in Maryland, DC, and Virginia, as well as 38 other states. So it's definitely possible to be able to do that. I would definitely say reach out, get somebody to get the training. Don't just purchase a firearm and don't understand how to use it. They are definitely not toys. And if you feel uncertain or uncomfortable about handling one, definitely seek out a qualified trainer. Even if it's not me, I got into this business because I want my people to be safe, and so the best way to do that if you're uncertain is to seek out proper training. My business is Titan Elite Protection Services. You can find us on Facebook when we're also on Instagram. If you look on Facebook, we're under Titan Elite Protection Services. And if you look on Instagram, we're under Titan Elite Pro. So you can search us out. We get a lot of various people, especially during this pandemic. Women are my biggest clients. A lot of them come out. And I do family classes as well. So if you have some, younger teenagers, who you want them to learn about firearm safety, just in case they come across something, please reach out, let me know, and I would be more than happy to teach you and your family and your friends.
Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for giving all of the information. So we went a little bit over. Thank you all for sticking around. So shout out to everybody who has been on the line and still hanging in there. Brenda Bailey, Jacqueline McSear, Reverend Rice. I can't even call you Colette Rice. My girl, my author, Miss Chappelle Robinson, Janice Bowles, co-author and a co-contributor to the show, Kimberly Hamilton, Lori Bledsoe. I'm taking that maybe yes, okay. Valerie, Nate, and some other people. No, okay, Andre Watts. So make sure you connect with him. He wrote it in there like, sis, can you tell him to give me a call? So I'm telling him to give you a call. So thank you all so much. Next week is actually our bonus week. So I'm working up some little surprises and a couple little things, but trust me, it's going to be really good. It's going to be really juicy. Every now and then we get that opportunity where we have a bonus Monday in the month. And I try to make sure that we reach out to the community and we make sure that people who have stories have an opportunity to share them. And next week, we have a story that you don't want to miss. And you can also catch me on Wednesday. I will be on the podcast with the real six man with Kevin Williams. You all have seen him on the show. He has been a guest. He always had wonderful topics, but we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship in the Black women. And so we're going to be giving advice and information. So thank you all so much again. And if y'all need any muscle or anything, y'all saw me on the range, so just call me. I got my little form and everything, and I'm about to get my little self-defense, so I'm going to be a triple threat because I already got a mouth, I'm going to have the hands, and I'm going to have the fire hands. So, all right, y'all. Thank y'all so much, and thank y'all, and I'll see y'all at the next show.